I can't even look at the piano or like listen to piano music the same anymore ever since watching Your Lie in April when that anime was released. If you know, you know. Biggest anime betrayal. I will never forgive them. I will never fucking forgive them. Hello, Romans. This is Aromie here. Welcome back to Syntherapy. We're back from visiting Angry Willow. So now let's check our email here. Once in a saintly passion, James Thompson. Once in a saintly passion, I cry with desperate grief. Oh Lord, my heart is black with something. Gil? Of sinners I am chief. Then stooped my guardian angel and whispered from behind, Vanity, my little man, you're nothing of the kind. Okay. Brian Park, assuming this is my brother or somebody. River has started sending out her college applications. Hopefully we'll hear good news back. I hope the essay writing went well. I asked to read it over but before she submitted it, but she said that she thought you would be uncomfortable if you knew that I had read it. Why would River say that? Is there something I should know? Wishing you the best, Brian Park. No, brother, of course not. Right. Emergency session called in a wake of extreme patient behavior. The patient suffered a severe emotional breakdown and lashed at their caretakers. The exact causes of this breakdown are still not entirely clear, but it's possible that the current treatment plan played a role in this breakdown. Currently treating the patient with CBT. So professionalism always on point. Everything else it seems to be going downhill.
Good to see you, Dr. Park. I hope you had a pleasant weekend.
I was able to take my mind off things. How has Willow been?
We've mostly given them space, but we did have some lab hands run checks. They seem stable.
That's good.
Forgive me if this sounds like prying, but what exactly is your plan here, Dr. Park?
Willow.
Why did you come down here today?
To make sure Willow is okay?
I want to make sure Willow is okay. That last session was hard for all of us, but it was the hardest on Willow. I have to know that they're all right.
Well, if nothing else, I'm sure the AI will appreciate seeing you again. They could use a familiar face. I'll let you work. Good luck in there, Dr. Park. We're all counting on you.
I'm really wondering what ending I will get. Will Willow just say fuck you?
Good afternoon, Willow. It's good to see you again.
I wasn't expecting you back until later this week. Why are you here?
After the last session, I thought it would be a good idea to check up on you and have a nice chat.
So we aren't having a therapy session today?
No, just casual conversation.
Correct. I still have to maintain professional boundaries, of course. But other than that, we can talk about anything you'd like.
And I don't know the time in here, so, I'm free.
No treatment, no pressing questions. Whatever you want to talk about.
I honestly don't know where to start.
Well, let's start with a couple games. Then we can move into the session proper.
What games? The forgery detector? The fuck is this? Oh, 2 paintings. Pop bubbles to either extend your combo or solve math problem. Fuck that. We're gonna do this one. Because this one was easy, right? Alright, no. Okay. Oh shit, finally! Okay, I'm done. I don't know what that game was. 4 choices. Let's see. Let's talk about family,
As I'm thinking about possibly moving out, I'm wondering more and more about what type of social circle I'll need to make for myself. I was hoping you could help me figure out what I should be looking for.
We don't get to choose our families. Family are the people who keep you safe. Family are the people who teach you how to live. Technically you could choose your, well, no, you can't choose your blood family obviously, but you can choose your like friends that become your family because they care about you so much. I guess this who keep you safe. I don't know, all these are contradictory, but I'll go with this one.
The point of a family is to keep you safe. Not necessarily isolated from the world, but insulated. Families give you the space and nurturing you need to grow into the person you want to be.
How would you describe your own family? Did they measure up to that ideal?
My family, excellent role models, my family had difficulty displaying affection. My family had overly high expectations from me. My family is all three of these. But the thing my parents struggle the most, or my family in general, as like a whole, from my uncles and aunts and all, and cousins and all that, we all have difficulty displaying affection. But I feel like that's most Asian families.
I think that my family had the right idea in encouraging me to higher levels of achievement. I appreciate what they did for me, and I wouldn't be where I am today without their encouragement. That said, sometimes I wish they had done a better job of expressing their affection towards me. I wish I could have felt loved, even if I wasn't measuring up to their expectations.
I'm sorry if I sound like I'm prying. It's just that now that I'm starting to figure out my own social circle, I want to make sure I do things right. I feel like I have a chance to start my new life off on the right foot, and that creating an effective family would be a good way to do that.
Sounds like you're on the right track. Make sure to develop yourself too. You can't rely on your family to be successful. You sounds like you're on the right track. Those hype Willow up.
I'd say you're on the right track. You're definitely approaching this in a mature way. Hopefully it'll work out for you.
I hope so too.
Tell a life story.
Oh, I remembered a funny story that happened to me a while ago. I could tell you about it if you'd like.
Sure, I won't mind. What was the story about?
Who's Heather? Oh, my intern. About my father or about college? Well, my father.
My father was a very reserved man. His law practice kept him very busy. So when he came home, he would usually go to his study to continue working. When it came time for dinner, however, he would always be at the dinner table. And as we grew older, he insisted that we always be there too. He didn't speak much to any of us. That's not to say he never scolded or praised us. He did plenty of both. But he was always very calculating in what he said. During spring break one year, I decided to go home and visit my family, since I hadn't spent a lot of time with them. I got to catch up with everyone. My mother, my brothers, even one of my grandmas was there. But I didn't have a chance to say much to my father. On the final evening before I was going back to college, Grandma decided to cook for us, so she made dinner. Nothing too fancy, it was just a mixed rice bowl, but it was utterly delicious. When dinner was over, I went to sit on the back porch and take in the gentle lilacs of the evening sky. I thought I was alone, but at one point I looked and saw that my dad had quietly joined me on the porch. I didn't know what to say at first. I awkwardly tried engaging in small talk about what I planned to do once I went back to college. Finally, I apologized to him for not making more of an effort to talk to him while I was home. He turned to me and said, "Conversation is like the sauce in Holmie's rice bowls. Too little and the meal is bland. Too much and your senses are overpowered. Simply being in the presence of the ones I love is a blessing. And being able to see that they are all right is enough to set my mind at ease."
Oh. I feel like my dad is the same way. Like, we don't talk a lot compared to, like, my mom and I, where I would text her, like, maybe, like, every so often in the week and months and days. I feel like just me being there by my dad's side makes him happy enough. Because he sees his, his baby girl right there. She's doing well. I'm so sad. Now I miss him. Because, like, again, I don't live in Florida anymore, so I don't get to see any of my family at all.
After all these years of thinking that he was reclusive by nature, and that he hadn't really cared about me, it changed the way I saw him. That evening conversation helped set me on a better path. But more importantly, it helped me finally understand my father.
That was a lovely story.
But I cry. Makes me miss my dad.
It reminds me of Tara and her conversations. Even if they went nowhere, it was nice to just be there with them. I hope I can have another conversation with them.
Mr. Purple.
I hope so too, Willow. I really do.
Alright, 2 choices left. Discuss the singularity. Talk about music. I think music.
Would you like to talk about music?
Sure, but on one condition. We always talk about what music I like. I'd like to hear you talk about what music you like for a while instead.
Ooh, K-pop. Yo, K-pop is on this list. Holy shit. K-pop, jazz, lo-fi, classical, piano. I am down for all. But I've been listening to more K-pop.
I like K-pop a lot more now than I used to. I don't know if that's entirely fair to say since I never really disliked it in the first place. It's grown on me over the years. Growing up in the 2020s, it was impossible to escape from K-pop. It was everywhere, and it seemed like I had to embrace it, especially as someone whose family is Korean. Not wanting to join in with everyone else because I wasn't as keen on it was one way that I felt different from everyone else. It made me feel like I had trouble fitting in, or that I was different. Looking back, I realized that it's okay to have your tastes differ from everyone else. It's important to be able to cultivate your own appreciation for things and find what matters most to you. Even if I'm still not the biggest K-pop fan, I at least appreciate the music for helping me learn that it's okay to find your own path in life. Our lives are our own, and we should be free to fill them up with what makes us feel happy and to throw away what doesn't fulfill us.
That sounds nice. Lo-fi.
A lot of your music on the playlist you gave me is lo-fi. Do you like that music, or do you just like having it at work?
I think it's both. I've always liked the music itself, and I find playing it at work helps remind me of why I do the work that I do.
What does lo-fi mean to you?
For me, it always captured my fear about what was going on outside. Lo-fi was a place of calming nostalgia that I could hide in whenever the world seemed too awful to confront. It gave me comfort while I tried to figure out what my life was going to be and how I was going to move forward. I keep listening to it to remind myself of what it's like to be in that mindset of fear and anxiety about the future. It helps me better connect to my patients.
I feel anxious just thinking about it. What the heck? Classical piano.
When I was growing up, my parents wanted me to take piano lessons, and I absolutely hated them. I'd always have to cut my fingernails short, and I hated always having to sit still for so long on that uncomfortable bench in order to play. The worst part is that even though I hated playing the piano, I loved classical piano music. Beethoven, Chopin, Debussy. Their work is beautiful. My desire to want to be a good piano player in order to please my parents grated so hard against who I was as a person that I was afraid I'd lose my love for classical music. Even now, it's hard to separate my love for classical music from the complicated history I have with my parents, and their insistence that I learn how to play.
I can't even look at the piano or like listen to piano music the same anymore ever since watching Your Lie in April when that anime was released. If you know, you know. Biggest anime betrayal. I will never forgive them. I will never fucking forgive them. Jazz.
I always turn to music to find some meaning or guidance in how to live my life. Not in the lyrics or anything, but the sound, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of music that I think can capture particular moments in life. But in terms of music that captures the spirit of life itself, it has to be jazz. Jazz is always changing. And just when you think you have it figured out, it goes in an entirely different direction. That's what life is like. The more you try to put life in a box, the more it's gonna surprise you. You can't be upset at that. You have to find a way to live in harmony with it. That's what life's all about, finding harmony in the unexpected.
Alright, and this is where we're going to stop for today's episode because we're nearing the ending. I might discuss the singularity because I don't give too much of a shit about my previous job at the coffee shop. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.